Sailor Suit and Machine Gun. Graduation, a Japanese action movie, will be explained today. Beware of spoilers. Izumi Hoshi is a high school senior who is 16 years old. She used to be the leader of the Yakuza, a significant organized crime group, a few years ago. She was renowned for using her distinctive machine gun to ambush a rival Yakuza outfit. She currently oversees a coffee shop that three of her gang's confidants, Madaka, Yuji, and Haruo, possess. After leaving the criminal underworld, they are attempting to lead a normal life, but the coffee shop is struggling financially. The three former gang members have a hard time adjusting to life as civilians, but Izumi brings them closer and gives them encouragement. A high school girl approaches them one day and complains about a modeling agency. The organization has been enlisting young girls and extorting outrageous sums of money from them. In exchange for a contract, they also demand sexual favors from girls. She therefore requests the group's assistance in closing the agency. It is obvious that even though the group has left the mafia world behind, they are still living the gangster lifestyle. The very next day, they storm into the office and demand that the manager return the money for each girl's enrollment. The manager admits that the funds are sent to Hamaguchi, their rival gang. They are significantly outmatched by the gang, thus interfering with it will only lead to problems. Yuji tackles the manager as he smugly tries to phone the gang leader. Before things get out of hand, Izumi stops everyone and retreats temporarily. The group talks about how to get the agency into legal problems now that they can't stop it with force on the way home. Izumi is asked to accompany Hamaguchi's gang members when they unexpectedly knock down Haruo and Yuji. She nods in agreement and says she has a lot to say to Hamaguchi, their leader. She arrives at their headquarters and enters fearlessly despite being surrounded by armed men who are twice her age. Hamaguchi accuses her of selling marijuana cookies on unofficial territory after displaying the boxed treats. They agreed long ago to put an end to all unlawful merchandise sales in particular areas of the city. Izumi questions him about the dishonest modeling agency despite his denial that he is connected to anything of the sort. She is shocked when Hamaguchi swears they don't sponsor any modeling agencies. The two settle their disputes, but Izumi has a sneaking suspicion that someone is trying to discredit her by circulating rumors. To save his boss, Madaka comes at the hiding place with firecrackers all over his body. Izumi follows him back to his house and decides to look into the situation the following day. The movie's antagonist, Yasui, a rising businessman, is then presented. A video showing Izumi and her followers threatening the manager of a modeling agency is shown to him by his assistant. It is obvious that he is the mastermind of the plot and that he is using Hamaguchi's name to cover up his illicit activities. His aide explains to him the background of Izumi's gang. Izumi's only role model throughout middle school was her uncle Yakuza, the former gang boss. He was once assassinated by a rival gang as he was returning Izumi from school. Izumi was given the responsibility to head the group and exact revenge on her uncle's murderers after his passing. She completed her task successfully by ambushing the adversarial group. She and Hamaguchi agreed to a number of things when she disbanded their gang, including never interfering in one another's affairs. One of the criteria stated that no group is permitted to sell illegal goods on the common area. Izumi and her team go back to the present and search the area for the young people selling the cookies. Assuming the role of clients, they learn that the Hamaguchi gang is helping the kids. The lads think Hamaguchi is cheating them, but Izumi notices something is off. She advises them to phone the police to report what is happening, but the police appear unconcerned. Afterwards, we see Yasui conversing with his right-hand man Stan, a hired killer. He is made aware of Izumi's involvement with their company. It is obvious that Yasui has been funding the modeling agency and selling unlawful goods under Hamaguchi's name. Tsukunaga is Hamaguchi's right-hand man. Also, he thinks Yasui is responsible for the misunderstanding. So he sends a spy to find out exactly what is happening. Yasui and his organization are attempting to take over their town, the informant confirms, after doing the same to some other places during the last few years. Yasui's major goal is to influence his partner to win the forthcoming election and become the town's mayor. After taking down the gangsters, they next want to construct development projects for their own gain. Izumi is in school that day when a female starts screaming and runs down the hallway, causing havoc. She flees outdoors and gets hit by a bus as people gather to watch her. A packet of specialty cookies is discovered by Izumi on the scene of the accident, proving that she was under the influence of drugs. Izumi encounters Kusakabe on her way home, a mayoral candidate for the city who was covertly collaborating with Yasui. He is Yasui's free pass to control the town's politics and, eventually, the entire town. Izumi is aware of this, but he is unable to change it because people still believe Kusakabe's lies about improving the town. Yasui and his goons learn at night that Hamaguchi is exposed because the majority of his gang members are away from the area. He takes advantage of the opening to get into the gang's base of operations and make a bargain with Hamaguchi. If he cooperates and relinquishes control of the group, he can work with Yasui. If not, he will die instantly. Hamaguchi muses for a while before deciding to take the offer. Tsukunaga, his right-hand man, is not pleased with the agreement, though. He is aware that Yasui will demolish the city for his own gain if he is allowed to dominate it. He therefore resolves to enlist Izumi's assistance to finally put a stop to the situation. He calls her to a love hotel where they may speak in confidence while he also shows her the news that Yasui's friend Kusakabe won the election. As a result, Yasui has full control over the town and is now its mayor. Izumi declines to work with Tsukunaga since he is a trusted member of the adversary group despite his requests for assistance in turning the situation around. Tsukunaga informs her before departing that she was given control of the village by her uncle and that it is her responsibility to protect it from villains like Yasui. Tsukunaga is followed outside by Madaka, who has been listening in on the talk and tells him to leave. Izumi's uncle was assassinated by Tsukunaga, but until now, everyone has kept this information from her. Izumi returns home from school the following day to discover a large group of people demonstrating in front of their coffee business. They think the store ought to be shut down because it is a deception to attract teens with special cookies. When Madaka tries to stop the demonstrators, he is taken into custody and locked up. By nightfall, the location is a fraud. Izumi phones Tsukunaga and offers to assist him in his goal as there is no chance of the coffee shop being revived. After a trip, Yuji and Haruo return home to find Izumi seated in the center of the demolished store. She requests that they go about their own business. The males, though, are determined about being at her side, thus. They encourage her and swear to exact justice on the source of the untrue report. The following day, Tsukunaga and Izumi search for the child who was selling the unique cookies. He is discovered there, and they confront him with the threat of telling the truth. The man reveals that a man with a scar on his face requested him to sell the cookies. The assassin Stan, who is also Yasui's right-hand man, is immediately recognized by Tsukunaga as being the Nameless. Two masked men attack them before the man can give them more details. They were ordered to kill him in order to prevent him from divulging their trade secrets to anyone. Izumi and Tsukunaga succeed in escaping, but the confrontation results in the man's death. Before they arrive at a storage facility that belonged to Izumi's uncle, the pair runs for a considerable amount of time in the rain. Izumi observes Tsukunaga from behind as he changes into dry clothing. His back tattoo, which resembles her uncle's tattoo in many ways, piques her interest. After some discussion, Tsukunaga admits that he had a good relationship with her uncle. Before he can explain how, Yuji and Haruo storm in and tell them that the manager of the modeling agency has passed away. They can see that Yasui is eliminating any suspects who might help them find him. Izumi stands up and declares that their gang has been revived and is prepared to take out Yasui. Since the day they broke up, Yuji and Haruo have been pestering her to revive it, so they are ecstatic. The next scene features Tsukunaga and Izumi storming a club. The club also includes Yasui, Hamaguchi, and every other member of his gang. Izumi dismisses them all and advances to the podium before announcing that her group has resumed operations. She presents Yasui with graphs and charts detailing every unlawful act he has committed in the community, along with the day and time when he sold the unique cookies to youngsters, in response to his mocking remarks that no one cares about her stupid gang. All of their progress will be undone if the reports reach the public and the mayor is suspected of being involved. She hurls the documents at Yasui and tells him to conduct business elsewhere. He calls her out, though, for threatening him with false reports because she was unable to locate the true ones so soon. Izumi panics as she realizes their lie has been discovered. Haruo and Yuji, who were outside, are brought inside the club and taken captive at the same moment. Yasui takes Izumi to the stage while holding a rope over her neck and threatening to hang her. The only person who can now stop this is the gang boss Hamaguchi. Sasukenaga requests his intervention. But Yasui shoots the victim dead when he raises his hand in protest. He makes fun of Izumi and admits that Tsukunaga was responsible for her uncle's death. Tsukunaga retaliates in a fit of wrath, and the two groups engage in a shootout. Following a protracted and difficult conflict, Haruo gives his life in order to protect their group and aids them in escaping in a vehicle. Izumi begs Yuji to turn the car around as she sobs over the passing of her close friend. A few hours later, Yuji stops the vehicle, reveals that he was also shot, and he collapses to the ground. Izumi begs them to take him to the hospital, but Tsukunaga is aware that if they turn around, they will all perish. So they take a car to a forest and bury the now dead Yuji. When Izumi confronts Tsukunaga about her uncle's passing, he responds that he had to because he had been given the go-ahead. The nature of their business left him with no other option. He gives her a gun and tells her to shoot him if Izumi doesn't stop making a big deal out of it. Izumi, however, finds it difficult to do so. The pair then sneakily makes their way back to the storage facility. After a long time, Izumi pulls out her machine gun and prepares to exact revenge on Haruo and Yuji. Madaka breaks free from jail as well, joining the other two on their journey. Stan is outside the headquarters of Yasui's business when they arrive. After a bloody fight, Tsukunaga stabs the man to death. The three just enter a meeting with Yasui, the mayor, and their associates after that. Yasui loses his cool and queries how they entered. Izumi doesn't give up and randomly fires at the group. Everyone else is killed when Tsukunaga and Madaka team up, save for Yasui. Then, though, Madaka is shot in the arm and hurt. Izumi is shot at by Yasui a few seconds later, but Tsukunaga absorbs the hit in her place. Izumi freezes as her two closest companions fall to the ground. Before he can do any damage, Yasui is shot by Madaka as he advances on her. Tsukunaga defeats him with a final blow before tumbling into Izumi's arms. As she kisses him, he says, "You're beautiful," with his dying breath. Finally, she and Madaka leave the structure. When the cops show up, Madaka surrenders and saves her. Izumi visits Tsukunaga's grave a few months later and informs him that she and Madaka correspond via letters. She also made sure Haruo received a dignified funeral and wishes him well. Her life has resumed its previous course. She still owns the coffee business, which provides her with a modest income. Izumi receives her high school diploma in the final scene. She performs a song in remembrance of those who gave their lives to save her. Thank you.